What's up, everybody? Welcome to the post game. This is Matt Dazzi, and in today's episode, we are going to be tackling this concept that Gareth and I have been talking about. We are making men's work a thing. So, we're going to be talking about that and why it's essential that you are part of a men's group if you are serious about the next phase of your life and stepping into a better version of yourself. We're also going to be diving into a post game of our latest opening of the Tribe Experience and an exciting free event that's coming up this Sunday. But before we get into any of that, I'd like to introduce my friend and partner, Gareth Pickering. How are you doing today, bro?
Hello, Matthew. So good to be doing one of these again. Feels good. We just press record and have a few things we're going to talk about. I value these, and yeah, I'm excited to drop in and share what we've been creating over the last few weeks and months.
Yeah, man. Right before we get started on this, you said it's just a couple of bros hanging out and having a conversation.
Exactly. There's
But
this.
the butterflies in my chest don't say that.
That's how it is. It's been a while since we've done one of these, and I think there's a healthy sense of like butterflies or nervousness every time I press record or go live or do something like that. And yeah, I think for me it comes with this part of a sense of responsibility or something. Like if you're going to say something, make sure
Yeah,
you have something good to say, and yeah, hopefully, yeah, we're going to share something that's going to be supportive of the work that we're putting out into the world, which feels really meaningful for us. And also just to share that we are hyper focused in all of the communication that we put out, not only on the podcast, but also inside our community and our tribe, of being aware of how important our attention is and making sure that, yeah, we don't just fill the space with unnecessary stuff. We want to share our authenticity of the journey that we're on, but really just the way that your attention is your most precious asset, and where you put your attention is where your energy flows, which is, yeah, essentially what shows up in your reality. And this is what we teach. And so, yeah, being conscious of making sure that we respect that, I think, is part of those nerves for me.
nice one.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
have mine quite pinpointed yet, but let's do a quick life update. You are contemplating a trip to Estonia.
I am contemplating a trip to Estonia. Part of what we have as make men's work a thing is, yeah, just recognizing how this technology of men coming together to share in a well held container has been, yeah, just hugely supportive for me to move through some of my own traumas and stories and help me integrate some stuff in my life, like old stuff, but also a place for me to be able to show up in my authenticity and receive reflection from the men around me about things that I can't see. And that's for me what men's work is. And I think this statement that we've been talking about recently is feels like men's work is today where meditation was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, probably. And yeah, just recognizing how important meditation is as a practice. Like it was definitely wasn't part of my world 20 years ago. And I feel it could have served me. And so, yeah, we feel like carrying the baton for men's work into this next phase, reconnecting men with other men to be able to break old patterns of masculinity and show up in their authenticity. And one of the things that we've always said is like, let's be the mind valley of men's work. And yeah, you and I have geeked out on Mind Valley as a business, about Vision as a leader, and about the community that they're building. And there's a possibility for me to get to Estonia in time for Mind Valley University in a couple of weeks' time. And so, yeah, stoked about what that could look like.
Yeah, man. Well, if it does come together, I'm just a short trip away, so I'll be hopefully on the back burner of that one.
It's like, I don't know, when we had that conversation offline yesterday about this, it was, yeah, it got me super excited about the possibility of, yeah, stepping into a vibration of other smart entrepreneurs, investors, creators, wellness seekers. Like the energy that's created inside Mind Valley is super powerful, and the beings that we've connected with have been amazing. And the way that Mind Valley University came into our world was like a direct question with one of the original people that's part of Mind Valley, who's happily sharing like some really important stuff to help us grow our men's work brand to, yeah, leverage some of the lessons that they've been so successful with in their business. So, yeah, I'm stoked about the opportunity to go there and to network with others and and to see how they create the same types of events that we're aspiring to create on our path, bringing men's work into the world.
Nice one, baby.
Yeah, man. So that's what's in my future. You are what's happening with your house search? We haven't even had that conversation.
Bro, the house search is feeling awesome. So
Oh yeah.
now we have decided that we're just going to stay in Madrid for the summer and save money because we want to buy land. We're looking at land. We found this dope spot south of the Gredos Mountains. It's like rivers and
Oh wow.
yeah, Nilo loves it. And yeah, we're looking for land around there. And we're looking at, bro, I had a whole fucking trip on this. We're looking at prefab or mobile homes because there's like this loophole in Spain where if you can't build, you can bring like these mobile buildings. And like, I don't know, there's a part of my upbringing in the United States that like, it's very classless to live in a trailer. And at the same time, it feels super fucking awesome to like have a house that just gets delivered and then I get to get a carpentry going and build whatever we want. Like it feels super
Mm.
good. So my wife and I have been super aligned on that, doing the research and getting excited and doing ceremony. And yeah, it feels really in flow, man. So
So what does that look like? You buy a house off a website and they bring it in a flat pack and make it, or is it like something else that's already converted, or
there's
what's
that,
up?
but the best market it seems to be is secondhand, and you buy it from someone else's land, and then you pay for transpo, and
Okay.
someone comes out, moves it, gets it to your spot, and levels it. So that'll be
Well,
starting point, and then just
build
keep
from there.
building. Yeah, because we're out of town 9 months a year, and so we want a place to
Mm.
come back to and keep our stuff, but
Yeah.
renting just doesn't make sense anymore. Anyway, very exciting,
Fuck yeah.
exciting times. Okay, I want to shift gears. We just closed registration for the tribe experience, the tribe intake. That is going and rolling. I want to use this time to dive into the magic that came out of that. And for me, the biggest piece of it was Warrior Walk. Warrior Walk. Raise your hand if you were in Warrior Walk. I was in all three of them. Gareth, bro, you're DJing with the music, walking us through these different powerful versions of ourselves, introducing us to our inner child walking alongside of us. Like I was in tears. I was in tears. I was facilitating. So I'm sitting there in front of a laptop. I'm not doing the walk. I'm just sitting there crying, crying. It was super powerful. And yeah, we
Mm.
wouldn't have got to that if we didn't run into some of the roadblocks that we saw the past couple of months on this
Mhm.
campaign. What are some of your thoughts?
Firstly, thank you, man. I'm so stoked about Warrior Walk. It's felt amazing. Yeah, I had tears as well in that first one. I was like, oh, something just came through with the music choice, and yeah, some of the stuff that was happening, and just knowing that there was our first walk had 18 men at different parts of the world dialed into a Zoom call. And yeah, we it came about, as Matt said, almost out of necessity. We were going through, not out of necessity, but more out of reflection and a refinement, or an evolution rather, of what we were creating. And so, yeah, without getting into all the detail, which we are happy to do with those that are interested, but basically, as we're building this brand, this Father, Sons, Brothers brand, it's really about bringing men together in what we call transformational experiences. And a transformational experience is somewhere that you come, you set a specific intention, and you go through a particular process. And at the end of that process, you have reflected on something or pondered something meaningful that brings you out the other side of the experience more curious, maybe different, perhaps a little bit more integrated, a little bit more at peace, a little bit more connected. And we've got a couple of ways of doing this. We've got the podcast that you're listening to now. We've got our content going out onto our social media platforms. We've got the Father, Sons, Brothers WhatsApp group. And we just finished a launch for something called Unapologetically You, which was a PDF of the 15 questions that men ask themselves to reclaim their power and live their fuck yes life. So it's a recognition of where am I draining energy at putting my attention, as we spoke about earlier, on things that I don't actually want. This looks like worrying, complaining, not taking responsibility. Yeah, just a general state of being in victim, like the world's happening to me, to reclaim that power and be like, okay, these are things are happening for me. They may look and feel uncomfortable, but how do I reclaim that power? And so that was really the first part of this. What we followed that PDF with was a three-part coaching container. And the third one of those experiences was our monthly circle, the King Circle. And so we were running circle number 24. And what we said going into this launch, we were like, men who come to the circle absolutely love it. And they keep coming back and they show up and they have these amazing transformations. What we should do, we should invest some money into some Facebook ads and get some men to come to this experience. So that was sort of where we got
Right,
to.
because up to this point, we had been working with word of mouth, with some organic social, and with our email list, and we wanted more brothers. And so,
Yep.
yeah, we got the ads rolling, and that was an experience. What was our number of men that RSVP'd to that event?
So first off, we had men. We've got another 1,111. I think there's a few more that have come in since then, but we almost ended on 1111. Amazing. Men that said yes to the playbook. These are new men that are part of our email list. That was a fucking huge win for us. Our email list grew by like about 10% just on that, more than 10%, 15, 20% just on that campaign. And our team did an amazing job on the upfront social. So that was successful. We got about 20 men who came to the paid coaching container over the three. But the part that you were pointing to was where we were like, okay, let's get some more men into this final circle. Let's promote some men to come to the King Circle. And we received 85 registrants for that final King Circle. And how many of those came, Matt?
We had 0 of those 85. We still had a King Circle with 15 or
20?
so, 20, was
Yeah.
it 20?
Mm-hmm.
But of those, they were brothers who were either in our field before, or were already part of our
Our
tribe.
network. Yeah.
Yeah, our network. And
And
so
so we
that,
were
yeah,
sitting there going like, we realized that when you get 85 men, the nature of these free experiences is that not everybody shows up. And so we were expecting a drop off rate of like between 50 and 60%, but that still put us at like 25 new men in circle. And we were like, cool, 25 new men that get to experience this, but nothing.
nothing.
It
It was devastating, man. It was
was
devastating.
fucking hard. It was so difficult. It was tough, and so
And like,
we left that circle both happy that we had gone through this process. We'd seen the whole launch through. That the men that are there are fucking always there, and they're so amazing. They keep showing up, and we had this conundrum of 85 new men, and none of them showed up. So share what you think our reflection was there, Matt, because that's really where the Warrior Walk was born.
yeah, well, it forced us to really think about it. And one of our business coaches had pointed out that men have trouble investing in themselves for personal development work. Like that's a more difficult type of sale, and so that statement started ringing more true in our minds. And we also started examining some of the subtleties, like 2 hours is a big commitment, or the format of a King Circle is pretty raw and open and real, and not everyone is maybe comfortable stepping into that environment for the first time. So, we started to examine all these different subtleties, and then that, gave birth to this next thing, the Warrior Walk. But before we got there was an element of frustration. It was like, fuck, why don't brothers do the work? Why don't people do what they say they're going to do? Like, I can feel the anger getting up in me. Like I still haven't cleared it all, perhaps, of like, yeah, man, like, yeah,
You say you want to, but then you don't do it. There's a part of me that was like, what the fuck, man? You say you want to change. We give you the thing. And this is the frustrating part of not being attached to the outcome. People will show up when they're ready. When the student is ready, the teacher appears, that whole analogy. It felt like we were showing up to hold the space for men who there was an interest, but there wasn't the follow through. And in some ways, that is the basis of men's work. It's like the fucking commitment and the integrity that you say that you're going to do these things. And so, yeah, we made some important changes, and we decided that perhaps rather than men having to participate, like the King Circle is participatory. You show up with your camera on, with your audio on, you're part of the co-creation. You're going to be sharing, we're going to be asking questions, there'll be breakout groups. But perhaps that feels like a step too far for some men. And I can own, honestly, probably 10 years ago, it would have been a step too far for me. And so, yeah, we needed to assess the data that we had from these 0 out of 85 men show up and was like, okay, what could we do? And so we made the switch to say, let's do something a bit shorter, not 2 hours, let's do half an hour. We also thought that maybe people are a bit tired of having Zoom calls. That's true for me. But we could perhaps create a different experience where instead of being in front of your laptop, you still use the technology of Zoom, but had the opportunity to get outside. And instead of the anxiety of having to participate, we sell it as an an audio only experience. So it's positioned that you don't have to even participate. You just get outside for 30 minutes with your headset on, with a group of other men walking in their own city around the world. And we got 25 men to register for that. 18 came. So from a 0% conversion to like a 75 or 80% conversion, it was nuts. And then we did another one, and we've already had 43 men go through Warrior Walk.
Well, the layer on top of that, which we haven't talked about yet, is everyone who registered for Warrior Walk, we dropped in one on one in a WhatsApp conversation. Because there's something like this making whole men's work a thing. There's a maybe it's in our DNA, maybe it's ingrained in our social behaviors, but when a man tells another man he's going to do something and gives him his word, that carries a lot more weight, certainly, than filling in an email address on a form.
Exactly.
And the opportunity to drop in with all those brothers and connect with like complete strangers who found us through a Facebook ad. Um, yeah, it was exciting to like, we saw some excitement from the other side. Like, is this real? Like, is this a real person on the other end of this?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was fulfilling, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, for us as well. I mean, it required us to actually really get one on one and speaking right to the men that are part of this and see what their commitments were, help them overcome any objections that they might have had, answer any questions, and be like, hey, do you want to come to this? Are you cool with this? You know, sharing relevant resources with them about men's work if they were new to it. And yeah, like you said, just that extra layer of personal touch. And I think what we came away from this, because this show is called a post game. We did a post game for the launch and a bit more of a deeper dive, obviously, with our own team and our partners and stuff. And we have a separate post game. We spend a lot of time reflecting on things that have happened so that we can learn and refine from them. But when we did the post game for this, it was clear that the warrior walk and the way that we engaged with people and men was different, and it feels like that was something that we're going to take forward into our next launch or engagement. And even part of our business model is like people want to talk to people, and yeah, that feels very different to just a web form pre-recorded video, something like that, which is what we have. We'll still have that in some places, but it does feel good just having a one-on-one conversation with somebody who's curious and maybe doesn't know.
Yeah. Well, for everyone who is listening, we're going to do another King Circle this coming Sunday. We do these on the last Sunday of every month without fail. And yeah, this one's going to be a powerful one. Gareth, you want to tell us a little bit about what it's going to be about?
I would like to just say, if you've never been to a men's circle before, check out the King Circle. It's a free gathering. It takes place once a month on a Sunday. As we said at the beginning of this, men's work is this opportunity to come together with a group of men in a safe and secure space to be able to let go of some of the stuff that you've been carrying, to receive reflection on difficult decisions that you have in your life, to feel supported about the things that you want to improve, but perhaps you can't see why you keep falling back into a hole. This could be relationship stuff, it could be money stuff, it could be work stuff. And sometimes you can't see what you can't see. And it's really when you have men around you that are part of these gatherings in a facilitated space where you get the opportunity just to reflect and share what's up and what you're working towards. The more you spend time in these spaces, the better you get at being able to ask for things and receive reflection for things that are in your shadow that you can see aren't leveled up in your life, and you have a map and a support team around you to be able to show you how to improve the parts of your life that you want to. So that could be health stuff, it could be money stuff. And yeah, Matt, maybe you can also talk a little bit into the power of being able to articulate your feelings, like the practice of speaking authentically, because that's a big part of what we train inside a circle like this.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how men's work is where meditation was 20 years ago, and that if you're not part of a men's community, like you're falling behind. And that I believe that. And the more that you find yourself in spaces like the King Circle, the more you're able to gauge that level of honesty within yourself. Like the more comfortable you can get in the container that's created, and the more belief you have and experience you have with the integrity of all the other brothers holding that space, the more you're able to just speak freely and openly and like from the heart. Like you tap into that. That's something I never knew how to do in my 20s. But
Mm-hmm.
the more that I practice it, the more that I can speak and I hear myself saying things about my stories, my patterns, my beliefs that maybe I haven't even checked in with myself with ever. But through speaking it out loud and the practice of really identifying and articulating one's truth on a whole range of topics is it's a key. It's a shadow map. It's a way to know what work you need to do next, to identify those edges that you need to clear in order to step into the better version of yourself.
I love it, man. We have this saying that says the the better you can articulate how you're feeling inside, the more you trust yourself. That's what Matt's talking about now. You know, the opportunity to really articulate what's going on for you. Some part of you is like, yes, I feel heard because you've been able to articulate it. When you take this skill and then move into your personal relationships and go and sit next to your wife and say, hey, this is genuinely what's going on for me, and be able to describe what's happening in your inner world, that skill translates into building trust with the people that you love the most. And so practicing the skill, as Matt said, is super, super powerful. And it's one of the key pieces of what happens inside a men's container.
Well, we're going to have a link in the show notes for the next King Circle registration. And on the
Yep.
tail end of that registration, you might be reached out to directly by Gareth or myself to confirm your seat at that circle. So we look
Yep.
forward to seeing you there.
Yep.
And Gareth,
Let's
before we wrap it up,
yes.
let's talk about this next container that we're excited to announce opening soon.
So it's pretty clear to us that there are men in our world and in our vortex that are interested in bringing their gifts to the world. I think it's a function of reaching like some stage of midlife, some part of manhood in your 40s or 50s is like getting to this place of like, okay, the time's running out. I'm going to fucking do something that really matters here. And no amount of money or tracing brass rings is going to fill that void of not doing work that lights you up, that really feels like it's in service. Now,
And it's not adulting. It's not adulting. It's a level above that.
mhm, I think it's wake up, grow up, show up for me. You know, the idea that wake up is at some level you realize that you're more than just your body and your thoughts, and we're connected to something bigger is the first part. Grow up is the adulting piece. It's like, can you manage your money? Have you got your kids in school? Are you paying your taxes? Like, are you showing up in society doing that? And then um, wake up, grow up, show up is the last piece, which is bring your gifts. Like, you came to this world to share something amazing, and you can be connected to something bigger, and you can be crushing it in life. But if you're not actually doing something that's fulfilling and meaningful, you're not actually showing up. And I think it's that piece that we're speaking into. And so, yeah, supporting men with the infrastructure, information, and training that myself and Matt and our team have put in over the last decade to understand how to create a business around a message and a content strategy and plan that goes around that. That is really for anybody. It's going to be a men's container. So any man that's at the stage of his life where he's like, either I know what I want to say and I need some support to get it out into the world. Could be a book, could be a talk, could be a course, could be a community, could be an in-person something, or I'm stuck in my current rut and I think that there's something for me here and I'm not sure how to get there. It's for those two men. And it's really an opportunity to take a look at what it is that you feel that you want to bring. What is your unique voice that you're bringing to the world? And this is really Matt's work. I'll give you a couple moments to talk into that. But really finding your authentic voice. What is Gareth here to do and to share and to serve? And this is where Matt has been guiding me. Fucking find your voice, underlining sentences that I say that start to become my story of what it is that I'm bringing to the world. Each of us have this particular thing, and it's in your path somewhere, and it's in your DNA to bring it. And this is really a container for men that are looking to find that and do it in a space that's supported, where we can ask the right questions, where we can share some of the lessons we've learned, the books, the resources. There's going to be a monthly mastermind for. It's going to be a small container between 5 and 8, maybe somewhere around there, somewhere in the $2,000 to $3,000 range for 3 months. And yeah, just an opportunity to get really curious about what this piece is and to leave the container with a plan and a direction of what to do next in order to bring this, depending on where you are in your life. You might be retired already, you might have all the money you need, you might be in another gig that you need to do sort of a parallel strategy, whatever those things are. Because of it's a small container, there's going to be a bespoke experience for those men that want to be part of this.
Yeah, and the process of bringing your gifts to the world wherever you're at in that stage, whether it's launching a business or giving a talk, like Gareth said, um, there is an entire emotional journey that's often attached to that. I know that's true for me. I know, Gareth, you've gone through some of that as well.
Thank you for
Every
saying
single
this.
one of my clients, without a doubt, has expressed that. And when we try to bring these gifts to the world in a vacuum, like from a vacuum, without sharing it with others, without having our work checked, without holding each other accountable to deadlines, like we end up getting stuck in some of our self-sabotaging loops that we can stay in for years. And it's, yeah, part of what we're bringing with this container is the opportunity to say, yes, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to invest in this piece of my human experience, and I'm going to go out and crush it. And that's the brothers who we're inviting. If that's the type of experience you're ready to say yes for, that's what we're creating, and that's what we're doing ourselves. We're not just facilitators for this space, but we're bringing our own projects that we're going to be working through alongside of everybody else, and use the magic of this men's work magic of bringing honesty, bringing security to share and have dangerous conversations, and seeing the reflection from each other, holding us each other accountable, putting the systems, support, and self assessments in place for that.
So good, man. I'm so glad you brought that emotional piece because what we didn't say when we reflected on the post game, which was I went through a huge emotional roller coaster towards the end of our launch. We started this call off by going through the post game of the launch, and we spoke about all those phases. And from that came the warrior walk, and that was all the conversation about it. Behind that was an entire emotional journey for me and my team. I'm talking from my first person perspective about my experience, which was fuck. It was like woohoo, we fucking winning, and then it's like oh no, nobody came. Then it's like oh you're amazing. Then it's like maybe we shouldn't be doing this. And you go through this entire emotional roller coaster. It's part of it. It's the same as a relationship. Anything that you invest a lot of time, energy, and attention into becomes a very strong mirror for all of your stuff. For your money stuff, for your I'm not good enough stuff, for your, what will people think stuff. All of those stories are going to come up when you invest in this. And so, yeah, thank you for speaking to that because that's definitely been part of this journey for us is like, your business is a reflection of you. That's kind of a really simple way to look at it. If your business is not where you want to be, there's probably not much you need to do in the business. You need to shift into the type of person that can run the type of business that you want to bring to the world. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to basically call each other forward on inside this container for 90 days. It's going to be a sprint. And yeah, it's going to be an opportunity to use this technology of men's work, which is listen, dudes, we're here to be completely honest with each other. We've got an agreement frame that allows us to cut through the bullshit and just be like, okay, that's going to work. That's probably not going to work. Have you thought about this? Just really supporting one another in that way. This 90 days will probably save you 2 to 3 years, depending on who you decide to invest with in those 2 to 3 years. But going solo, I think, yeah, this is going to be a fast track for those that are ready to get this into a place where they can really start to get a confirmed offer. That means something that you can take to the world and get paid for. And that's really the aim of the first 90 days inside this container.
Well, bro, I'm stoked. We're going to go into it in greater detail at the King Circle. So
Yep.
again, we're going to put the details in the show notes here. And is that it for this episode, Gareth?
Yeah, that's it. We are super jazzed to be co-creating these again. We're going to be more consistent with these now that the launch is behind us. But I really love this format of the post game. It's a chance for us to drop in. It gets me clear on thinking about what it is that we want to share with our community and with our tribe. And yeah, hopefully also continue to spread this message of men's work being a thing because that feels like what we're bringing. We've had 478 men inside transformational men's experiences so far, and we've got an interim goal, a medium term goal of 10,000 men, and so we can well on our way for that. And yeah, that feels like it. Link in the show notes for this Sunday, King Circle 25. Always a super super amazing event for those that are there. Like 2 hours once a month recharges you and resets you in a way that not a lot of other stuff can. My men's circle is such a powerful reset for me. I do one every single week, including that one every month. But yeah, come and check it out if you've never been to a men's circle before.
Well, thank you, Gareth, for this episode and for this co creation that continues to evolve. I love it. Hope to see you in Estonia.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm going to have to make that decision pretty soon. But yeah, thanks for holding this. Thanks for your support over the Unapologetically You. Thank you for holding me through some of my wobbles and buffaloes that came out. And yeah, I appreciate you and what we're building, bro.
Fuck yeah, baby. All right,
Till
till
next
next
time,
time, y'all.
everybody. Sweet. Adios.